11. Referral system for regular users and the first deposit bonus. Gaming devices store and the best choice of payment systems. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, Counter-Strike and StarCraft, World of Tanks and League of Legends. EGB.com. You know for sure who's going to win.
Getting tired of playing with the usual skins but don't have enough money to buy a new one? Get rich fast with CSGoFast.com. CS Go Fast. It's a strong chance of winning in every game. Several rooms with different game modes. Daily, more than 1,000 games, 5,000 players, and 25,000 skins at stake. You don't need much in order to sweep the board.
Welcome back to the Starladder I-League StarSeries China Finals. We're in Season 2. And, of course, we've just witnessed the first map, which was a very surprising one. An absolute domination from the Chinese side, BOF. And MVP, I don't even think they built themselves into the game at all.
Yeah, they seemed to just be a bit lackluster, a bit dazed and confused on the map. They didn't seem to quite basically know how to respond on trains at any aggression or any basically more control substance play. And well, ultimately, that's going to lead to a very decisive victory, with a 12-3 being that first half, and 4 back-to-back rounds, closing that game out in a very much a 16-3 fashion, which, in the grand scheme of things, is a bit of a stomp. But of course, we're going to be rolling into that second map now. It's going to be Mirage, and you can see the map on your screens right now. And well, any off-the-cuff thoughts, Tom, about Mirage and these two teams?
Well, the only thing I can hope for is that basically the ban system worked. The MVP went, okay, we have a permaban. We don't really like Train, but let's just hope they don't pick Train. And then they pick Train, and they got destroyed. So the only thing I'm really hoping for is maybe the same thing happen the other way, but I don't see that happening so much on Mirage. There aren't, like, realistically think about all the teams that you actually know. How many of them permaban Mirage? Like, I can't think of any off the top of my head. But we'll literally permaban it. I think there's a few teams that don't play it too much. Like, I'm not sure you see Fnatic on it too much anymore. Although they could still play it, I feel, if they wanted to, and you still have the sort of Olive Meister mid-window or sort of style of things. But yeah, there's a lot of teams play Mirage, and not too many teams ban it. So unless there is just one of those teams like, oh, I hate Mirage, can't play it, we don't have that sort. Like, I think there's definitely teams who aren't very good at it. Not going to name them, but 5. But yeah, I think I don't think this should be too much of a problem. The only difference will be the MVP setups. And they do have themselves the CT start, so they've got that at least, the advantage of the knife round. And, well, Sound's actually gone for a couple of nades, but it's armor across the rest of the board.
Well, let's take a look at the boss side of things. They are very much spread out, but already going to be kicking things off in a very nice fashion. It's going to be educated to pick up the first frag, takes down Sound. Ardency soon to fall, potentially. If he can get away, though, that's going to be the nice thing. And he will actually manage to survive, as now Rinda going to be wrapping him from behind, trying to push on towards underpass there, trying to sail out, trying to find a frag, but how on earth is he not connected? The shots just like blocks raining down from above. Still no frags rolling in. What are we witnessing right now? And eventually, Bottle will find the frag. X1 will find himself another frag on towards Artel, though, but now RBK going to find one for himself, takes down Ardency. We're going to find ourselves in a 4 versus 2. But straight off the bat, what on earth was that from both teams respectively? Hit your shots, guys. That was not okay.
Yeah, a lot of missed shots. Hopefully that won't happen again. Either way, it is going to be the bomb going down. And the remaining 2 players are absolutely nowhere near the action. I'm not sure whether they were just a little bit asleep and someone had to say, hey, Zig, yeah, they've taken B. They've had it for quite a while, but he is now going to start his rotation. They don't have a kit. There is one dropped somewhere on the map, but Bottle, well, he's just going to rip the head off. And now Zig, he sort of has a bit of a predicament here. He's got 4 players to find. He has himself a nice amount of bullets, I guess, and if he can hit all headshots, then he has a chance, but really doesn't have too much time to do it. Bomb going to be ticking away. He manages to grab 2, but he's got to turn back around and go for this kill yet again. And, well, Ed2K jumping around will manage to grab himself the frag.
Zig perhaps buying off a bit more than he can chew, as he does unfortunately fall in that pistol round, meaning we are going to be seeing a pistol round go in flavour of Born or Fire, which is already not the greatest sign in the world. but at least it's going to be something, as now they're looking to go for this one in a very aggressive fashion. They've got those 2 MAC-10s in play, the UMP also coming up, as well as those 2 rifles. So a standard buy round coming again from BOF, something that we see them do all the time. It's going to be the same old, nothing changing. And well, that's the thing, BOF, a very consistent team in the way they play. They tend to not really change up their buys too much. If they do something after pistol rounds, they do it. And the only thing I will say to MVP for that is you've played this team before. Surely you should know a couple of these things.
Yeah, we are going to see again. It's that double rifle, triple SMG buy. They've gone for the stack over towards the B site, which, well, is actually quite a decent scenario for them. But this is where you need to see the T side just realize that this is in play. They've already spotted another 2 players. They've got no reason to push onto this site anymore. Yes, the MAC-10 can go and try and earn some money, but I would say just rotate that bomb straight over towards the A side. And it's exactly what they're going to do. They're clearing out all the angles. Much smarter decision from the T side. And that's one of the main problems I have with a lot of teams nowadays. They'll see a few players and go, they only have pistols. What can they do? And just run in and basically die. Just run up against a wall. And instead, you see BOF just going, okay, you want the B site? You can keep the B site, but we're going to go take A. And, well, now it's going to come down to the rotations. It will be a quick trade as RYK managed to close down the kill onto Zig, but it's still going to be a bit difficult. They've got to try and just clean up the rest of these frags pretty cleanly. They don't want to lose any of their rifles, and obviously being dropped towards the end of the round, there's a lot less time, and actually there goes one. Going to be hefty damage actually done, and they've got to be careful. HSK going to try and bring this back. Don't think he has time anymore, but may actually be able to grab a rifle. If he can just run back and pick that up, that'll be very valuable for their next round, but he's actually going to run straight past it. So no rifle saved for the CT side, and they're not going to have one, or they're going to lose one, I guess, on the BOF side.
Straight off the bat, we'll be seeing a pause come into play here from the BOF side. I'm going to assume at this point, no early tactical. It's going to be a tactical, obviously, for the most part, I'm hoping. They are going to be looking to work on that one ASAP. But of course, in the meantime, Tom, we find ourselves in what is a fairly early 2-0 scoreline streak right now for BOF. And we are, of course, as I said, the keyword there is ridiculously early, so there's not too much we can read into this. But any observations straight off the bat on the MVP side?
Well, for starters, for the BOF side, I think the reason they've called a pause was because one of their players was just frozen. Because towards the end of that, one of them actually died to the bomb. Although there was no one anywhere near it. Or, no one anywhere near the bomb, so there was no reason for him to be there, and I think he must have just been stuck, which actually means that their economy really isn't that stable at all. They've kept one rifle. Luckily, it was the rifle, but everything else is gone. So they've lost 1 rifle, 3 SMGs, a hell of a lot of armor nades, all the way across the board. So a very damaging round. They'll keep the 5-7 on the CT side, so that's something for them to play with. But apart from the sort of poor state of the pistol round, yeah, there's not too much to say already. I think looking a little bit stronger, more confident on this map, going for some sort of stack plays and making gambles that we didn't see them do on train at all. They were just basically playing a standard setup, sort of a 3-2, and I would have actually, I'm really sort of up for that 4-1 strategy on train, where you see 4 players over towards A, sort of one of those 4 is around connector, and then just have that one sort of catalyst player over towards B. And the thing is, they didn't actually have any problems with B. I know we're still talking about train, but again, there's not too much to talk about on Mirage. And they had a player who was doing fine on B. I think it was Zig. And then, but they just kept another player there who would just die. And then you'd see that connector spot just basically Ed2K. He just ruled it from the T side, which makes no sense whatsoever. For him to be able to have control of that for the majority of the rounds is nuts. So I think this should be a much better map for them. For starters, there's not too many positions that are really easily controllable by the T side that are that damaging. Like, you having basically what Ed had in the previous map was, okay, you see I spawn all the way at the back. I'm now going to get B in the middle of all of the CT players. It just doesn't make any sense. So on this map, there's not really that much of a possibility unless they sort of boost themselves through mid. But in this round, well, they've bought up the AKs again. There's nothing on that CT side except for the HSK pistol and armor. And it's looking like a much more clean round. They have still got a couple of SMGs which are doing all the damage at the moment. $600 per kill. Lovely jubbly. And it's only going to leave 2 players left. One will go down to Ed. And then there's only Zig left with the pistol.
He's going to be playing towards top mid. They're tapping away, looking for at least a frag on towards Ed, but that's not going to happen. Ed will take him down. And we're going to find ourselves at a 3-0 marker. But now we should be seeing a buy come out from the MVP side. And well, straight off the bat, you mentioned that we should hopefully be seeing some more depth from them when it comes down to strategy, overall thought process, and all the way they want to be approaching this game. Well, we're going to be testing that one right here and right now. They've got 5 rifles on the board, Of course, they've got those the 2 M4 A1Ss and 3 M4 A4s. It comes down to how they want to opt to utilize those in those scenarios to pick up the frags here. As you take a look at the BOS side, they are going to be keeping 4 rifles in action. The MAC-10 actually going to be staying in the hands of RYK. An interesting choice, but perhaps looking to see if he can find himself a frag, maybe even pull out an upgrade, while also making himself another $600.
Yeah, no head armor on the CT side, so that MAC-10 is still viable. Of course, still only a bullet to the head needed, and I don't think it's the worst decision in the world. They didn't want to trade up both rifles and basically burn a lot of the cash they just made. I'm actually quite liking the buy from the CT side. They have opted to go for nades over sort of an AWP or over head armor, which of course is the logical choice. Maybe not so much the AWP, but definitely the head armor. And well, they don't have too much in terms of actual Molotovs and stuff, but they do have a nice crossfire, and that's really nice from Rinda. Done the work, done the job. Argency's going to grab another. HSK was supporting, and well, the position from Dark could be absolutely valuable. Now Zig going to find another, and all that can really be done at this stage is damage from Artil. So that'll be the first round on the board. Much, much better from the CT side already. Having a clear setup, looking towards mid, 2 players covering connector, and they just had a great read on that one. And then the player under balcony was just prepared for anybody who's actually going to push in from Palace. So
a nice opener, but now can they lay down the execution here? Because of course they still have to face one more buy round on the side of Born on Fire if they do want to find themselves breaking their economy. We talk about that buy round rolling in. It will be 4 AKs, Alan AWP coming into play here because, of course, RYK, he actually kept the MAC-10 in play that round, made himself a little bit more money, so we'll be able to afford that AWP. And well, now they actually technically have the better economy than MVP going into this one because we're still not going to be seeing a single AWP in play.
Yeah, early aggression comes out from Bottle, and it's good to see that punish early. It could sort of push back the BOF aggressive sort of play. They've been doing way too much of that on train. They shouldn't have been able to get away with as much as they did. So the fact that already it's starting to get punished is great news for the MVP side. They can possibly even send them rescinding back to a more passive style of play, which may work out even more. So 2 early frags, great stuff from the side of Argency, who's actually found both of them, one onto short, and then rotating back over. We are going to look at Kuckers, but it's going to be RYK from short to actually find the kill. And while Argency's very low on HP, he'll have to almost hit the headshots, but actually does the job. Manages to take down one more, and Kuckers wasn't ready for that at all. Artil jumping down again, same position from Zig, but if it works, it works. And now it's going to be all down to RYK. He has the AWP. There's not too much for him in this one. He's going to go jumping in. Nice shot. Quick reactions, but it still leaves him with 3 players to find.
Maybe he's going straight in towards that one player, though. Will miss the shot in the air. Now going to be dying back towards mid, though. And, well, the potential to get away with this AWP certainly looks a little bit bleak. With 35 seconds coming up on the clock there. He has to do something. He's now darting back towards the top of mid there. Trying to stay alive. Of course, that is extremely difficult when you are in a scenario with 3 MVP players alive. Looking to bring this one back after what was a very decisive first map, and we've got to give credit to MVP. They're going to be feeling it after first map. There's two ways they can go about this. They can either sit down and be distraught and be, oh, we've just got 16-3'd, or they can look to do the exact same thing back to the side of BOF. And now feeding that energy and feeding that kind of passion into the game and trying to reverse that kind of 16-3 effect. At times, yeah, you can maybe be a little bit overzealous.
Oh, no.
It's going to be dropping the AWP there. RYK going to be losing that one out. As they're going to be fine at the flag, especially after the round. That's going to be painful. But of course, leading on from what I was saying, MVP, the chance for them to go into this one much, much better certainly is there. They've already stepped up in a nice way. They've walked away and brought it back to a fairly nice scoreline for them. They've actually won the buy round as well. But they still have a good chunk of work to do. But they're playing much more sensibly, and I do like this.
Yeah, talk about sensible. We do have a buy coming in from BOF, and I would say it's not so. They're taking a big sort of risk here. I think this is just a even out the money round for the BOF side, as obviously RYK has next to nothing, so they may as well go for something so that they make sure that they're all buying at the same time. They are on the less favored side of the map, so it's not the worst case scenario, but Sound will be finding the first frag of the round. A couple of trades coming back though, and this could allow them a bomb plant, which would be very valuable at starting to get their money back intact. They've already picked up a few rifles along the way, and well, they've lost their player who didn't have any armor, so this is not really the worst case scenario for the T side. They've got themselves a bomb, they've got the after plant positions, and actually all 3 players are going to be pushing in from market here.
This could prove to be lethal for the MVP side. As Arto, he's going to be ready and waiting for the push to come out. Finds the first frag, finds the second nearly. HSK will find the third, and that's not going to be enough. Only 1 frag coming in from HSK there. Picks up a frag for his team. That's not going to be enough. Bonafide, they are going to step this one up. Somehow they walk away with a bomb plant in that scenario. A force-up round to equalise their economy. In fact, it's going to be a massive boon for their economy. It's going to help them equalise things back out, but in a positive manner, because now they can go into this one with whatever they need. They're going to be upgrading from those Tech 9s to those rifles. They are more than happy. And well,
Doesn't make any sense.
They've handed their economy and basically swapped bank accounts with the MVP side.
Yeah, it's like sort of the Robin Hood scenario, taking from the rich, giving back to the poor, but it turns out that the poor are actually the terrorists in this side of things, so maybe not the best analogy in the world. Either way, it is just going to be pistols back on the MVP side, and that was a massive round to lose, a round that they really couldn't afford to lose, and you can see what I mean by literally couldn't afford to lose, as they now don't have anything back into this round. We will see the AK taken down and picked up, but quick trades coming in with Ed and Artil, finding some nice frags earlier on. Argency with the AK is going to have to go pretty big. Spoken about Mechanical Aim in this sort of Asian scene. Well, he's going to have to do just that. But that's a nice position from Zig. It is going to freeze frame at almost the perfect moment to ruin. It's almost like one of those sort of, and that's when he knew. Then it freezes.
It certainly is when he realised, oh, okay, going to be hitting the deck. The bomb will still go down, though. The ticks being perfectly lined up there. As now we're looking at Ed2K. He's looking to hold this one off. Is he going to find the frag there? Well, the freeze frame's certainly going to be letting us find out. There is Arnsey will pick up one for himself. Kaka going to be going in from connector. We can hear the sprays coming in. I think he found the frag in the end.
Yeah, this is pretty damn close. The only problem is there isn't a kit, so he's just got to buy as much time as possible. But actually, Zig's going to get this one. And they have enough time for the defuse. How has that round gone back? How? They had nothing. They didn't even have armor, and they've managed to win a round. I
tell you, but I didn't get to watch most of it.
I'm blown away. But some great pistol work. Well, that we can definitely say. And well, a picked up AWP for Zig is going to be so valuable. So MVP break back. Speaking about sort of switching economies, they're going to do it yet again. And oh, what a crazy scenario. It looks like the T's are going to invest something into this round.
Oh, they're going to have a few everything they've got
in play, but it's not really. Well, it's better than the last buy, like the one that they tried to do before, but it's still not very good. And OYK is still really suffering after that round because everybody else still building up a little bit of extra money off the back, and he's left with a Tech 9 not even having any head armor.
Well, the important thing to note is when they went with that Tech 9 force up and won the round. Well, that's the key thing. They won the round. Potential for them to do it again might be a little bit more tougher because MVP should be ready and waiting for it, but already a frag will roll into the court of BOF. Bottle will find himself a frag on towards Ardency. Is they going to be trying to fight this one back? They picks up one straight back. We find ourselves back to a 4v4 here. Rinder in a perfect position over towards stairs. The spray down here would be absolutely huge, but he's not going to go for it towards the end of things. And well, that's going to be a little bit unfortunate almost. The timing just not quite working out in his favour now. As Sam will try and find something towards CT, but he bites the bullet just a little bit too early. And now it just looks like it's all falling apart here. HSK trying to stay alive with the AWP, but the jump shots will roll in. He finds a huge second shot, though. That could be huge now. He's going to find one for himself. And now we're looking at, well, just Kuckers. He's all alone here. What can he do? He's in a 1 versus 3. It's not going to happen. Rinder will take him down. And, well, huge props goes to HSK for that one. He came in with some wonderful shots with the AWP there towards the end, somehow landing a shot straight after jumping. And, well, yeah, what is there to say?
Why did they push him? That's what there's to say. Really wanted to take that AWP so badly out of the equation that they actually just completely left the site and gave the remaining CTs complete control, leaving just one player over to actually try and defend it. Yes, they managed to get the bomb down, so they will have a buy in the next round, but I feel like pushing that AWP wasn't actually that big a factor, and they took it way too over the top and ended up just handing him frags. The second he was back in CT spawn, yes, he was a threat, but he wasn't the most direct one, and just running into a crosshair of an AWP, well, it doesn't matter who the AWPer is. Yes, any AWPer should be able to hit those shots. Maybe not in quite the success after jumping, but at the same time, it is a questionable one. A nade thrown out by Sound, up close and personal. Again, that's the second time we've seen a nade thrown in, and teams not work out the trajectory, meaning that they just get slaughtered when they run through the smoke. Finally, we're seeing them punished for that sort of overzealous play.
I think he actually tried to nade through. Didn't quite make it work in the end.
Yeah.
Naded the wrong direction, but albeit it's still a nade nonetheless, and it did a tiny bit of damage as the push will eventually roll in. They mow them down piece by piece. BOF not being allowed anything into that round at all. And what we've got to give MVP credit, they are making this one a much closer affair, and especially with the fact they've taken a 1-round lead here, of course with the scoreline reflecting on a 5-4 scenario. But you have to take a look now, because of course we're seeing MVP, they're going into a buy round. They've got, of course, 4 M4s to boot here. They've got the AWP pop on HSK though. Now this for me is a very interesting factor, because we saw HSK in that last round. He picked up some really nice AWP shots towards CT, but they were pushing him. Can he find the aggressive AWP shots himself where he actually has to look for them?
Yeah, well, talking of aggression, we see Bottle find that first frag onto Argency pushing up mid now. It is going to come down to Rinder. He will grab one. HSK is there with him, but now he's going to be rotating back over towards the CT spawn position. And this time, Ed looks like he's going to stay behind the smoke, which, well, I'm almost blown away. Either way, Bottle is tagged, and we are going to see the spray from Sound giving away his position. Now we're looking at the corner position. Ed could actually end this round on his own, but they have to be careful of Zig. And Bottle, is he really just going to run all the way out there? Doesn't check his corners, allows a free frag to go in. The Molotov, a much smarter play, and it allows R2 a little bit of a chance to try and find this frag, but he's missing the shots, not going to get it. And now it's all down to Ed. He's got 3 players to find. We've seen them pull this off before. He's going to get the first, but the bomb's already being defused, and it doesn't matter anyway, as Zig takes him down. Triple kill for him. The flank pays off again, and that's going to be another round on the board for MVP.
Let's just take a step back for a second, Tom. I think we need to talk about this. What on earth was that double ramp push? There was no need. Artul then tried to trade it back after a teammate already just of Bottle just decided, you know what, I'm just going to run through and not check my corners. But then straight back, then Artul goes for a frag, and well, just doesn't. Well, I don't know.
The Artul one I can understand because they've thrown a Molotov on CT, and if he found that frag, it was a 2 versus 2. The first one from Bottle, I don't really know why he was just he basically just assumed that there was nobody there, mainly because there was 2 in CT, and it was just like a probability factor, but you still have to just say, okay, well, there's still a high chance there could be someone there. Either way, in this round, we're seeing a very aggressive push, a hell of a lot of damage done, but they're actually not going to... Did he just get... He just got 2 through the smoke. Oh, wow, Rinda, 4K, that... Well, that was a little bit lucky, but at the same time, very impressive.
Is that a let's talk about feelings moment? I'm not sure what else is. The spray down just straight through the smoke. They're extremely punishing stuff coming in from Rinda. He's not going to be complaining at all. Because now MVP really starting to walk away with this one, starting to get themselves ahead. But of course, on Mirage, let's talk about sides here. 7-4 scoreline. They are on the CT side. It's not
impressive.
Yeah, it's not great stuff on the CT side, but it is them taking a lead. And if they can keep this one going, you know.
Well, the other thing is the money. They're doing it in a clean fashion, in a way that actually gets them so much money onto the board. And the main problem they had on the side of Train was the fact that they had no cash. A double nade onto Sound, though, I think that's the main problem of playing the same position more than once, is that they just naded up close and took him straight out of the round. Another kill will come into RYK, and well, after praising how cleanly they've managed to win the last 2 rounds, these pistols have actually already taken 2 frags. We're going to see the jump from Kakas, which will give him some information into the push of Argency. And, well, if he can connect some shots, it'll be wonderful. But Argency will bring it back, slowly trading this one. There will be a quick rush. Rinda's position could be pivotal. It's not the most common position. It's not the one that's always checked. And he's got to go for that other kill. He isn't actually going to go for it. And, well, Bottle will trade him out. And I feel like that bomb planter was not the most valuable kill in that scenario. He needed to look for something else. I think because he missed the chance to kill the player on Palace, things switched around. But we're actually seeing a hell of a lot of aggression. And, well, why not? Ed just finds the shot, showing exactly why we have been comparing him to Stewie 2K. Also, he does have 2K in his name. But at the same time, very nice. And a bit of a throwaway round. Again, it's the CT side. We're praising them for how clean they've been doing this, and then they lose to pistols.
For me, that's the irony of it. I'm just kind of sitting there just laughing that one away, because the minute we start saying, oh, MVP, great job at keeping it nice and clean and concise, walking away with the simple rounds, just really denying them any opportunity on the BOF side to make those eco rounds or those slight kind of damage-inflicting rounds possible, and then one by one they just kind of walk into pistols.
Yeah, and, well, definitely not the start. I don't think we'll see Sound playing that position ever again after the nades took him down early on. I think that was really clever from BOF. A lot of teams don't do that. Like, okay, somebody's played there a few times. How about we just double nade it and see what happens? Oh, look, we got a kill. Lovely. It just opened up the round so quickly, and it could even put Sound on tilt. Just to have that happen, that would annoy me if someone actually specifically came and threw some nades at me and I get taken down the first few seconds of the round. However, Zig, he has other ideas. Argency going to find another frag, and this is looking like a better one now from the CT side. Obviously, a much slower play coming out from the Ts, and it doesn't seem to be working out for them. As said, it seems like maybe the Punishers come in from the CTs. Nice shot from Ed, jumping AK. Not going to comment on that. But either way, Argency now, he's got a lot of work to do. The rotation will be coming in. He has a teammate close, but Argency's doing all the work himself. Finds another frag, leaves just 2 players left, and I think there's a bit of an indecision where they're actually going to go here.
Yeah, I don't think they know if they want to head towards that B site or not just yet. And while with the clock ticking down 40 seconds, they do have to make a decision, Tom, on where they want to be kind of heading towards. As we look at HSK, he's going to be just lining this one up perfectly. The slow peek could actually be deadly, but he unscopes the worst possible timing this. He's actually not going to land a single shot there. And now we're looking at Ardency. He's lined up with the M4, ready and waiting for this push to roll out. The CT side are slowly but surely creeping their way over here, but RYK will come in with an AWP shot, takes down HSK, but the rifle of Ardency there to secure that frag on the board. Now it's just one player and one player alone with the AWP. He's going to miss that flick shot on towards Ardency. It's not going to happen. Misses the second shot as well. And eventually the M4 will find the frag.
I think I've realized why they didn't have RYK as the AWPer. And it's because he was in-game leader, so they decided to just give someone else the AWPer, which is actually quite funny. But I suppose rather than just putting them as sort of support or entry fragger, they just wanted to put, rather than put like AWPer / in-game leader, they just went with in-game leader and threw AWPer over to someone else. But yeah, no, he is the AWPer and the in-game leader, so...
You've got to share around the hats, you know?
Yeah, I have to say there aren't too many successful AWPers and in-game leaders, but he's doing a decent job. I'd say Fallen is the prime example, and the sort of Adrian is the prime example of how it doesn't work. Yeah, I'm not saying Adrian's a bad player. Great fragger. He just can't do both.
Yeah, certainly would actually... I actually can agree with that one, but we'll talk about aggression right now. It's actually going to be Zig. He finds himself one, gets traded back by RYK in the end, though. So it's going to be a 4 versus 4. But even then, MVP, they're playing this one in a very precarious angle, very much relaxed over towards A here, very far back. And BOF actually aren't going to be taking advantage of that. They seem to be wanting to head over towards this B site. But in the grand scheme of things, not necessarily a bad plan either. The one problem I've got with this, though, is if they don't take down Sound very early on, then I'm a little bit worried they are just going to allow those rotators to come in, and they are inevitably going to fall.
Well, yeah, the other thing for me is on that B site, the best player has been Argency, and he's no longer there. So they have pulled a rotation. I am a little bit skeptical by the fact that they still are leaving 3 players over towards A. They must now know there's so much noise coming in. Sound is going to throw that Molotov far too late, meaning Kakas will already be onto the side. He needs to grab at least one here. Now just stay alive. That's smart. He rotates away, but actually jumps across the gap, and that just throws away his life. Quick kills coming in from Bottle, who grabs 2, and he's going to go pushing through the smoke. I think that was a little bit too much for me, and both of them just hand their lives away to HSK once again.
HSK really stepping up now to the plate with that AWP. You certainly can't knock him for the shots that he's hitting, especially with these consistent wallbangs that he's finding. The flicks really reigning supreme. But of course, the MVP side, they're at a 9-5 scoreline now, so they are going to be looking to make this one a smooth 10-5. But to be honest, Tom, even a 10-5 from Mirage is not the greatest feat in the world on the CT side. It's certainly good.
I think it's reasonable.
It's reasonable, but it's nowhere near quite what we were hoping for a very decisive side. It is nice to be seeing a much more balanced game, though. And for me, it will come down to BOF on their CT side to see if they can pull through, or if we're going to be going over to overpass.
Yeah, the other thing for me as well is, considering the start, that it was 5-4, this really isn't that bad at all. The fact that they've managed to bring this all the way back to a position where they are in the lead, they've also done a hell of a lot of damage. The only real question is the position of Bottle and how he managed to get there without anybody noticing. But in the meantime, a nice cleanup from Zig, doing a hell of a lot of work. Will get taken down, but I think he's done the damage. It will come back to a 3 versus 2, and somehow this is being traded back. This is now scary. Only one player left alive, and how on earth did that go the way of the BOF side? They're smiling. I can see why, because I thought that was good as done the second Zig got those kills.
In reality, it should have been good as done, but unfortunately, somehow out of nowhere, the frags will roll in, and BOF will pick up that round. And really, I've got nothing else to really add to that, to be honest. It shouldn't have took place. There really is, God, no ifs or buts that I can kind of go into here, because it just shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, well, this is the sort of idea now that if the pistol goes to BOF, they're going to be on level pegging. Well, if they win the follow-up rounds, of course. But yeah, that's not really what we wanted to see to the finish of that. We were sort of saying how they managed to come back, build their way back into it, and it seems like every time we compliment the side of MVP, they show us why we shouldn't. That was a really poor round. Zig did some nice work, didn't quite get all the frags, but did a hell of a lot of damage, and then everybody else just seemed to go, oh no, Zig's dead. What do we do now? Let's spin around like headless chickens and get taken out. Either way, we are going into that second half. I would say if the pistol goes to MVP, then they have no real troubles. They'll need to get themselves roughly 4 buy rounds, if that, especially if the economy goes their way. The other side of things, though, if it goes back to a 9-9, then things really do become a little bit more problematic, as we do still heavily favor that CT side. And as said, we've already seen some difference of styles when looking at the Chinese side of things, and even in some of the lower tier European games we've watched, the T side has become more prominent. But I would still say this should be a CT side of map, and just waiting for that pistol to come in now.
For me, this comes down to the IGL of BOF as well, because, to be honest, in reality, as you say, CT side of map, there is potential for them to make this 9-9. If they can pick up this fifth round and pull it off in the right manner, a very safe manner, and then find those follow-up rounds. The follow-up rounds being key, of course, because, well, I can't say how many times we've seen those follow-up rounds after those fifth rounds being completely reversed on us throughout this tournament, of course. But we are actually not going to be going into this one. PC has crashed, so that round is going to be cancelled. We are going to be looking to get this one nice and comfortably reloaded, which actually gives us a little bit more time to sit through and talk about what we can expect to see on this pistol round here. But it certainly allows me to finish my point as well, the fact that with BOF and their IGL, if they can find the right strategies early on here, and they can bring it back to 9-9, it is a very worrying prospect for MVP, because of course them on their T side, it's purely going to rely on their fragging power, as well as any executes they've got lined up. And, well, the one thing is, executes and Mirage, in the grand scheme of things, they're fairly basic stuff. Everybody should know their CT smokes, their stair smokes, their jungle smokes, etc. So everybody should be able to pull that one off. But it gets a little bit more advanced when you have to take over mid, you have to take over B.
Well, the other thing for me about this map, this is maybe the map where I would say that my two favorite AWPers are actually in-game leaders for this map. We've got Fallen and we've got Karrigan. Two players who are... Their AWPing style on this map is just so smart that it actually works very, very nicely for them. So you could say Karrigan, for me, was actually the sort of pinnacle AWPer on this map. Not necessarily for like his skill as an AWPer, though he is very good. It's more just the way he played it. Like, he was never a static AWPer. He would go window one round, then you see him push short, push in through connector, even jump up and shoot into palace or apartments. And that was just the sort of AWPing style I liked on this map. And I'm wondering what we'll see from RYK, because sometimes, like I said, maneuverability, the smart AWPing play can actually be better. Some of my favorite clips on this map are of Fallen when he's over towards the sort of back of the B site, just coming out of market, and he just maneuvers his way around and actually shoots into apartments. May miss a few shots, but he'll still find every single frag because they can't put, like, he positions himself so very well. And I think this is definitely one of the maps where taking the straight duel for the CT side AWP isn't actually the best scenario. The best scenario for them to play this is to just be so surprising or be so hard to hit or just be a pain in the arse, basically. Just someone where you're going, okay, for Stars, I don't know where he is, and if I do know where he is, he's going to be maneuvering himself so that he's using the position of the map to actually favor him. And it was what we saw in the first half from the CT side AWP, where he moved all the way back into CT. If they wanted to kill him, they had to come to him, which automatically gives him the advantage. That's the thing with the AWP nowadays. It's not that sort of jump round corner or run into angles and still have the same pace with the AWP. You have to be a little bit more tactical with it, and that's why I think some of the best AWPers are not only like very calm and like calculated, but they're very, very smart. Even like you talk about Guardian, probably one of the coolest guys in the world. Like, he will not, you don't see him get rattled. It just doesn't happen. He's got his whole team. He could have Zeus screaming his head off, and you'll just see Guardian just sat there like, you done? Because I don't care. I'm going to go and kill everyone now.
Well, certainly hope that's true, taken into account. I think they've got some recent roster changes and such, and well, they've got picked up a fairly hot-headed player in the grand scheme of things. But of course, we're not here to gloss over Na'Vi's roster changes. We're here to discuss both of these teams, MVP and Born of Fire, as they look to get themselves very much so into this second half. And you make some interesting points when it comes down to those AWPers. That bait and switch play over towards CT with that AWP certainly proving to be a key factor of that first half for the CT side. But also, it's going to be interesting to see if this one will follow through on that second side as well, because now we're seeing that switch come into play. We're seeing BOF start over on their CT side. Well, as I said straight from the get-go before, I am looking to their IGL to really pull something unique and different out of the bag in the grand scheme of things, because as much as it is hard to do something different and, you know, off the cuff on Mirage, there are certainly things you can do to surprise a team like MVP, who, to me, they seem very much more structured, almost rulebook based, in terms of they have exact strat book, they seem to be following it to the T. They don't seem to be too dynamic, too off the cuff, whereas I feel like they can be countered and surprised by the Born of Fire side, who, you just have players like Etuke just kind of darting out of nowhere and just basically them going, why would you do that? Why on earth would you jump through that smoke?
Yeah, the thing for me is as well, like, you look at their basic plays and you see players like Zig, he was playing in dark every single round. You see the players on short every single round, one player on site every single round. Like, I'd say that you can have that sort of standard setup and it can work, but I'm really into the sort of dynamic mid plays and really going aggressive in some rounds, but then playing passive. Like, I don't think we saw them push Palace once.
Well, this is the thing, and this is where you really hit the nail on the head for me. It's all well and good having those basic strategies and defaults to kind of stand on if you either want to have them as kind of your base, this is our go-to, or use them as your fallback. Some teams use them as a fallback, some teams go straight into them. But then there needs to be some depth. There needs to be some variety. Whether it's, okay, you're playing in Shadow, but maybe try and push Palace one or two rounds a game. Or if you're playing over towards B, try and do something different. Or maybe just change things up slightly towards those sites. So just a slight variety in positions.
It's
Because, of
a
course,
fear factor.
well, if you play in Shadow every single round, all they have to do is Molotov Shadow. And realistically, unless something huge comes out fragging-wise, they should be able to find the frag.
Well, yeah, the main thing for me about variety is it's not necessarily whether it works or not. It's whether or not it forces the T's to play a different style of play. Like, we saw the counter to the aggression on the MVP side earlier on, where they did have a couple of players like push. That was on the B side. They actually did have a little bit of variety where they were pushing up in apps. The only problem was they did it too many times and then it got countered. Like, we saw the double nade thrown in. But like that's the big thing for me, whether or not they actually they go for the aggression, but they do it not so that it's for like, oh, look, we won a round off something stupid. It's more to get in the heads of the T's, where the T's have to go, okay, well, we can't really just run straight through there because he could be playing here. We can't just take over Palace because he might be sitting in the corner of Palace. We can't just run down mid because there may be someone in window, there may be someone on short, there may be someone connector. But if you play the same way every single round, the T's will start to realize what happened. And that was exactly what happened on train. They were like, okay, but they have a really loose hold on the A site. I'm just going to run, I'm going to get one kill and I'll go through connector and then they're screwed. And that's the big thing here. I think we've actually jumped straight back into the pistol. So it went from highlights to actually the real game. So we are seeing now a decent pistol coming out from the CT side as things are quickly being cleared up and they will get themselves the pistol round. So that's a big factor for them. However, the bomb did go down, so the T's will have a start at least. Yeah, that really threw me off because I was looking at highlights and then I looked, I was like, wait, 9-6. That's the scoreline now.
Yeah, that's the thing. But of course, if there's one thing to note, we did take a look at the BOF players there. They are, they're feeling it right now. They are certainly going to be those sort of players who are being very loud and not very reserved, which is something that's actually very common within the Chinese scene. You don't tend to be seeing too much kind of screaming and stuff in terms of at least what we see from a European perspective looking into it anyway. I'm sure that they've got their own high-octane kind of moments, but it's nice to be seeing BOF really just kind of getting riled up, ready to go, while also keeping themselves nice and kind of concise in game. But when you talk about players like Ed2K and such, I think he's that player who works better in that sort of environment.
Yeah, I don't know mentality-wise. Like, he plays crazy in games, so maybe he's crazy in real life. Either way, we are going to see the CTs just trying to defend this one up against straight pistols. An extra bomb plant would be wonderful, but it's not going to happen. Easy round. They clean everything up. A couple of rifles in place, still the SMGs, and I wonder if they will trade those up or just go for a bonus round because, well, realistically, they should know that this is coming. If they don't, then I'm horrified. But there should be a buy coming in here. I would hope that there's a buy coming in here because otherwise it's sort of a pointless save in the last round. Yeah, there we go. AKs will be bought up. Argency actually going to go with the Tech 9 and a lot of nades in hand. So actually going for something a little bit different. But I'm guessing that means there's going to be an A-site hold. And that was an interesting smoke. That went all the way up to the top of mid.
Well, that's a new
nice.
One.
That's
nice. Really nice.
But the position of Argency could actually ruin that off, and he's going to be spamming away with the Tech 9. In the meantime, the push is already coming onto the A side. The T's have taken over almost every single position, and the idea was to counter the T side with aggression, and instead they just took A.
Yeah, seems to be a bit of an accident almost, but they've managed to pull it off. The bomb going to be going down, and while you take a look at the BOS side, they've got two players left stand. It's going to be Ed2K and Kakazi trying to make the best of this one. We've got an SMG and a rifle in play. But even then, I think they know that the smart option here is to go for the save. It's a 4 versus 2 scenario, not favoured in their situation at all. More especially now we look at Zig. He's on the hunt here, looking to take down this rifle, denying Ed any opportunity to try and escape through the back of that B-Apps area. He tried to get to T-spawn. The smoke will be going down just to try and help him out even further. The one problem Zig has got now is if he does want to go for the aggressive push, that smoke is going to be there ready and waiting, and the round is going to be ending very, very quickly indeed. That is his time window gone, and that is us finding ourselves on a 10-8 scoreline. Yeah,
the bonus round, though, does mean that we can see a rebuy from the CT side. And, well, actually, Kaka's going to go with a FAMAS over an M4, even though he could afford an M4. I don't know if that's personal preference, although I'd say you'd have to be a bit mad to actually favour that weapon. But, hey-ho, each to their own, I guess. I think it may have been someone like, I think it was MBK, but I could be completely wrong, who said that every pro player should know how to use the FAMAS. And, whoa, RYK is going to start this round off with a bang.
A very nice way to kick things off here. Finds himself a frag, takes down Ardency. And I've got to say, I'm looking straight to these players in mid now on that CT side to hold this one off. They've got a nice little pincer set up. They've got that strategy over on short as well. But they have to pop off at the perfect time, because if they are even slightly delayed or slightly too early, Rinder and Sound will punish them. As they are just going to be throwing a couple of Molotovs down towards underpass, making sure not too much funny business is going to be taking place. And this is nice, don't get me wrong. But I have a feeling these nades might just be a little bit too early. So now we're going to be looking towards Sound. He's going to be creeping his way up towards mid, definitely getting ready to go for this quick, aggressive push towards Connector to find themselves one frag towards Bottle. We do see an RC Rinder. He's going to be just playing around this close right angle here, looking for a frag towards window, but RWK will go for a very aggressive peek there. It's going to pay off. Somehow Sound not there to back up his teammate. Now Troll trying to find a trade almost. There's no one to present himself, but he's going to be sneaking up on towards A. But Bottle's going to hold the angle. He will fall though, getting punished there. But now we look at Sound. He's in a perfect position, gets himself over towards jungle. If he can stay alive here, this could be huge for the MVP side. Now they're going to be walking out of ramp there, but looks like that's going to be getting punished. Arthur will pick up a frag for himself. Zig will fall. And now we're just looking at Sound alone. He's in a huge position with only HSK left alive, and he's over towards ramp. Potentially might not be that huge after all.
Yeah, nice shot from Sound. Will manage to open things back up, but it really is going to be all on his hands here. He needs to find this frag, and the position is not too good. It should be easy for him to get this next frag. Now the rotation will come in. Cuckers will manage to grab the frag, but it's going to be HSK. He brings it back to a 1 versus 1, and it's Crazy Ed to try and find this kill.
If there's a player you want in this scenario, though, I've got to say, it certainly would be Ed for me. He's going to go for a spray down. He will connect the shots, and Ed is going to walk away with the round, picking it up for the Born on Fire team.
Going to go grab the AWP.
I'm glad he's picking up the AWP, though. The AWP is a smart decision to make, and it certainly is.
Yeah, it was big frags.
Well, it's a big frag, but also big damage. Economy-wise, Born on Fire really aren't overly stable at the moment. If they can find themselves some stability going into this half, that's going to be great for them, especially with them being on the CT side, arguably one of the more sided sides on Mirage.
One of the more sided sides.
English, guys. It's hard work, you know.
Either way, I have to say, if anybody is like you have the sort of map, just keep looking at the positions of RYK, because all the way through, like while you were talking, I sort of just zoned out and watched him, and he went from mid, then he went all the way over to connector, switched all the way around to CT, then went back over and had a peek at B. He is constantly playing that rotation up, and I'm loving it. That's exactly the style I wanted to see him play, the sort of smart op, the unpredictable op. But for the start of the round, he will go back towards the middle position. But now comes that setup. We saw Argency do great work with the tech, so I'm not too worried about that, and it's going to be down to those two players. But here we go, quickly. You see the rotation from that AWP. It's not going to do the work just yet, but it will be those frags coming in either side, and actually quick frags coming in for the T side. Doing the work, doing exactly what's necessary, and now the possible reset is going to be absolutely massive for the CTs. They really have to consider saving these rifles.
A very awkward situation indeed. Already going to be pushing over the push there, and well, not sure why Ed2K decided to go for that one. Sound will take him down, and now all we're looking at is one rifle to be saved on the Born of Fire side. Playing towards that CT position, trying to smoke off window to make sure he can get across safely. But even then, the question has to be asked, why are they only saving one rifle in this one? They certainly should have been able to save two. But unfortunately, Ed2K decided to go for the aggressive option. And I think he needs a bit of an on and off button. Needs to know when perhaps not the smartest time to go for it. But thankfully, Cucko is going to be trying to dish out the damage here at least. So at least hurt MVP's economy now. So he takes down Sound. But even then, it's not quite going to be enough to make back what Ed2K has lost.
Yeah, nice work from the T side, though. They go on the hunt. They will close down that extra M4. And now the monetary position of the CTs is going to be a dire one. They kept it with only one player in the round before. Then they lose a round and lose everyone. So that leaves them with next to nothing going into this one. I think they may just have to eco or go for something really risky. And you can see, yeah, just going to be an eco in this round. MVP looking strong on this second map. Getting themselves, well, likely to be up to 12. And then they only need 4 more. And we're looking at a strong position from them.
Really nice stuff to be seeing so far. Certainly giving us an inkling that perhaps a third map is possible. So we will be looking to see if Overpass will come into fruition here. Pressure going to be on for Born of Fire, though. They need to find themselves some quick frags here with these pistols to try and dish out at least some damage. As you take a look at MVP's economy, they are building things up. They've got $3,000 in one of their players, respectively. A couple of thousand spread out across the board. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's a start. And, well, that's the big thing. All it takes on your T side is a start, and then, well, you keep adding lump sums to that, and, well, very quickly you find yourself with an economy growing out of control here. As we look to see Sound tapping away for a pistol there, trying to find a frag on towards RYK, not quite get to connect the shots in the end. He's going to get away by the skin of his teeth, just 42 HP remaining. But it's going to be enough now, as they are going to be mollying off over towards his B side, trying to push their way onto it. Rinder going to be going for a quick aggressive push there, finds the frag in the end. Ardency picking up one of his own, and one by one they will fall, and then he should be able to take themselves a fairly comfortable site.
Yeah, this doesn't leave too many players left, but it will be one frag. They're going to try and pick up that M4, and Kuckers will have that in play. Still pushing with this onto the site where all of the players are remaining, which does have that risk behind it. As you can see, losing 3 players in this round, quite a costly one when they could have just rotated away. But either way, it is going to be another round on the board for MVP, and they're going to be feeling a bit more confident about this one. The CT side may have a bye in this round, but it's not going to be a particularly good one if they do. And, well, they'll have to try and win with next to nothing if they are going to actually purchase up here.
Well, that's going to be the huge factor. It's a pretty tough one if they do want to go into this one, but we are going to be seeing that come full circle now as we look to the MVP side. They started adding those lump sums as we talked about before, and they're going to find themselves with one player, $5,000 sitting in the bank, whereas in comparison for the BOF side, not so much. So we've seen the scout come into play on RYK here. If he can find himself a couple of tags very early on, that'll be key, as we already see HSK knocked down to 51 HP. But the other key factor here is those FAMASes. They can do a lot of damage at those close ranges. You can certainly, some spray downs maybe not on the cards, but it's all about the individual frags at times, and not necessarily having that huge M4 effect.
Yeah, but there is the first kill. A possibility for Ed to grab a rifle, which of course has that additional factor. RYK is only going to have a scout, so he's going to be looking for those tags. The position of Ed is going to be the crucial one, though, because he is now technically in behind, and well, I'm not sure what RYK really had to do there. Possibly wants to die so he can now look over what his teammates are doing. But there we go. Ed has an impact. He actually finds 2. Wait, way too long to actually realize that he's there. That's ridiculous. They should have known instantly that he was in that position. And, well, the bait out of the bomb is perfect. It just finds out where the frag is. But he got a frag early in the round, and they still had no idea he was in apps. That is mind-blowing.
Just lack of reactionary play causing... well, a very drastic effect there, which will mean they will walk away with the round. Those FAMASes finding those close angle picks, doing what they needed to do. And it means that, well, we get ourselves one step closer to witnessing a bona-fide comeback, to making a smooth 2-0 victory after what was a very decisive first map, a much closer second map. And I've got to say, Tom, I'm a big fan of just how close this one is going, because it really does show that there's more to MVP than what we witnessed on that first map, because straight off the bat, one of the things we said in between the maps was we were very worried for the MVP side. It didn't look like they were showing in full force.
Yeah, they've still got a long way to go. They still have 4 rounds, and BOF is still on the favoured side of the map. We are going to see the Tech 9 onto Argency, pushing aggressive into middle, and he's again, it's this same strategy. They're doing the same thing again and again, but it's working as Zig. He finds a couple of kills, Sound will manage to grab another, and it's been the same scenario every single time they've tried this. Argency goes mid, 4 players go A, they find the frags, 2 players are left, and then they fall at the end anyway.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward scenario there. They'll be tagging away the Tech 9s, and it will
look.
be Ardency to close things out there.
happens.
It happens, as you say. It means that we're going to find ourselves at a 10-13 scoreline, getting themselves one step closer to forcing us over onto, well, overpass, in fact.
I don't know why they're not doing that every round. Like, the A site just seems to be so easy for them to take over. They've had absolutely no trouble. Argency just plays with the Tech 9 in middle and just baits a few players into that mid position. The 2 players on B are the ones that are ending up left alive, and yeah, their A take on MVP is just really, really good. They're finding every single kill. It's really easy, and yeah, why not just keep doing it?
Well, I think they are going to be doing it all over again here, as of course the only thing that BOF can bring to the table is just these pistols, and well, I'm hoping they can find 1 or 2 frags. Looking to maybe see Sound. He's in a bit of an awkward position there in terms of where he's playing. Looks like he might be falling as he's going to be the first to push in. He actually will pick up a frag himself, takes down Arsenal in the end. So many frags rolling all across the board for MVP. They don't appear to be able to do anything at all, but Sam will be the player to fall, in fact, but the only player to fall, as BOF are going to find themselves being very quickly rolled over to reach a 14-10 scoreline. And this is where the pause will come out. The tactical timeout, I'm hoping. BOF going to be taking just the time to go, right, guys, we need to talk this through, because this is the perfect time to basically say, do we want to go to overpass or not? Because they need 4 more rounds to stop.
This is the sort of last possible time they could have called a pause, and well, I think it was clear that they had some problems on that A site. It still is, and what they're actually going to bring into this round, well, there's a possibility for an AWP, which will actually be dropped over. I would actually, for once, like to see the Static Orb possibly playing over towards jungle, just to stop that Palace push, or play him over towards the CT spawn just to have that ramp push cut out, because that A site is just so weak at the moment. They can walk in, kill everyone, and just go, thank you very much, easy round. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they try and grind this out. I don't know why they would now change and go B. if it isn't broke, don't fix it. And even if it fails in the next round, I'd say just do it again, because you got to play those mind games. But yeah, looking like a completely revitalized MVP. We go from them winning 3 rounds to already getting themselves 2 away from map point.
Very close indeed. But 2 rounds, I have a feeling in this matchup is going to mean a whole lot more than what we expect, Tom, or what meets the eye. Because, of course, you look at the BOF side, they only need 4 to try and get back to that equalization point, bring it back to 14-14. And I kind of have a feeling the BOF should be changing things up now after the tactical pause. It should be a nice opportunity for them to try and kind of rekindle those flames, bring back what we saw, that passion that we saw over on Train, and allow them to walk away with at least something here of the lid to go into this round. It's going to be a fairly, for the most part, passive setup over towards B. They really aren't going to be contesting B site much at all. Whereas they're actually going to be very aggressive over towards A, but they're going to get punished. Zeke will find himself 1 frag respectively. Are they going to be trying to balance one back? Find the trade, takes down Sound over in mid. But you can certainly see that MVP want to do something over towards that A site.
Yeah, it's a very hefty presence over towards A at the moment, but you can see the rotation role being played again. Zig is just the entry frag machine at the moment. He takes down 3 players pushing into the site, making this look easy, and he's been an absolute beast in the second map. Was one of the only players who was even awake in the first, but this is looking like a completely different side at the moment, with MVP just 2 kills away from taking the match point. But either way, Zig, he's just holding this down alone. Is he really going to get this right at the end? He's the only player on the site, and he's killed everyone except for 1. RYK, he's also been baited. Zig was just the decoy. But oh, wow, I didn't even notice. Did you just... 37 frags.
Yeah.
37 frags. What? Oh my god. That's not even like, he has a rucksack. All the other players are just sitting there like, oh, carry me, Zig, bring me all the way home.
I believe he's 37-1 to 14 with a rating of 2.08.
I knew he was doing well, but that's insane. He is an absolute monster. And wow, like I said, he stepped up. I did not think it was that much. That's absolute insanity. Absolute beast at this stage. And wow, if he does that again, he's going to hit the 40 frag monster.
Well, we are going to be finding ourselves on that map point for the MVP side here. This is the 1 more round they need to force us onto overpass, as we look to see if that is the direction we are going to be heading. Fire are going to be looking to bring this one back, of course, though. But unfortunately, the tools they've got
from the scoreline, and it is the most even game ever. I think he has more kills than if you doubled second.
Unfortunately, the only thing BOF are able to bring to the table is not a single rifle. It's going to be 4 UMPs and a scout to hold this one off. Certainly a fairly rough tool set. It's like bringing wooden tools into the Iron Age. It's not going to be ideal. Not something they can use to really pull much out of this round, it seems, as already it looks like we're going to be looking at RYK. Caught a bit of an awkward situation, knocked down to just 2 HP, potentially soon to fall as a nade. Or anything really could dish out so much damage, and there will be the nade, there will be the frag, and Rinda going to be walking away with that one.
I still can't believe he has more than double the frags of anyone else in the game. That's absolutely ludicrous, just having an MVP performance, you could say.
You could say that, yeah, just going to gloss over that one really and just let it happen, But of course, for the BOF side, it's looking so rough now. They're going to be trying so hard with the scout, but their dreams are well and truly not intact at this point. They are being knocked down 1 by 1. And well, goodbye BOF. Welcome to Overpass. We're going to be seeing you over there very, very soon, because there is no way you're getting this one back with just a UMP. And all that is that one 16-10 scoreline.
I wonder who the MVP of that map was.
Take a wild guess.
What a performance. What an absolute performance. But if that's what it takes for them to win a map, then maybe they still have something to sort out. It was an absolutely dominating performance from Zig. We are going to be going on to Overpass, which... Well, I feel like it's sort of a balance between the 2 maps. There's a lot more tactics than Mirage, but maybe not so much as Train. Either way, an absolutely ridiculous performance. All we can really say is Zig is a beast. It was actually 35, not 37, although it said 37 on the actual board, which... Does that mean that's wrong, or that the board in-game was wrong?
We're not going to question the stats. We're going to go with the stats we have in front of us. But either way, 35 or 37, ultimately, what's the difference? It's still a huge amount of frags.
Yeah.
It's still a huge rating of 2.23. But as you said, if that's what it takes for them to walk away with the map, I'm a little worried, especially going over to Overpass, because for me, Overpass is very much kind of like Train in the way that it's played out.
Yeah, you can't really have a hard carry. You need more of a team play effort. Either way, that might play into the sort of BOF style of things. But yeah, we've gone from one extreme to the other. A pretty dominant end to that map. But it had its close stages, and now we're going to look for a bit more of a close third map. We'll be back in just a moment. Or we're going to stay. Yeah. Maybe not.
We'll just
there we go.
Kind of just exist.
Accept bets on computer games online since 2011. Referral system for regular users and the first deposit bonus. Gaming devices store and the best choice of payment systems. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, Counter-Strike and StarCraft, World of Tanks and League of Legends. EGB.com. You know for sure who's going to win.
Getting tired of playing with the usual skins but don't have enough money to buy a new one? Get rich fast with CSGoFast.com. CS Go Fast. It's a strong chance of winning in every game. Several rooms with different game modes. Daily, more than 1,000 games, 5,000 players, and 25,000 skins at stake. You don't need much in order to sweep the board.